Here we go. 5 riddles only people with fresh thinking can crack. Like a fresh egg. Oh wait, does that mean that fresh thinking comes from eggheads? No, not really. People tend to think that intelligence is the only thing you need to solve a difficult problem. However, tons of studies show that it's the ability to think outside the box that can get you out of almost any situation. Do you think you have it in you? Let's see whether your unique perspective will be able to crack some of the hardest riddles out there. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on post notifications so that you won't miss any of our new videos. Okay, eggheads, here's riddle number 1. A smooth criminal. On November 24, 1971, a man calling himself Dan Cooper bought a plane ticket in Seattle. Shortly after the 727 jet took off, Cooper showed the flight attendant his briefcase, claiming that there was a bomb inside and that he was hijacking the plane. After that, he demanded $200,000 and 4 parachutes, 2 primary ones and 2 reserves. When the plane landed in Seattle, the police had the parachutes and money brought to the hijacker. Once he got what he asked for, he let the passengers go and ordered the plane to take off again. A bit later, while the aircraft was in flight, Cooper parachuted out of it somewhere over the forests of Washington state. This incident actually happened, and to this day, people have no idea who this man really was and what happened to him after the hijacking. So, the question is simple. Why did Cooper ask for 2 primary parachutes and not just 1? You have 15 seconds to figure it out. You think you know the answer? It's actually not that hard. According to U.S. laws at that time, hijacking a plane was a crime punishable by death. Dan Cooper knew that there was a high probability that the police would give him a faulty parachute. He demanded 2 primary ones so that the police would think that he was going to take a hostage with him. And his plan worked. Of course, the police couldn't risk an innocent person's life, so they gave Cooper 2 perfectly functioning parachutes. Case closed? Well, not yet. Riddle number 2. 2 companies. Imagine that you're a highly sought-after expert in your field, and 2 amazing companies have offered you a job. Sounds like a dream come true, doesn't it? Not so fast, because now you have to make a choice. Both companies are offering you a starting wage of $180,000 a year. However, if everything goes well, the first company is willing to give you a $20,000 raise every year. The second company will give you a $5,000 raise every 6 months. Which offer would you choose? You have 15 seconds to weigh your options. What do you think? The first company is obviously better, right? Wrong. If you chose the second company, congrats. You definitely know how to rake in more cash. Let's break it down and see what you'd come out with after 3 years in each company. In the first company, you'd have $180,000 after the first year, then $200,000 in the second year, and $220,000 in the third year. Adding it all together makes $600,000 for 3 years. Now, for the second company, for the first 6 months, you'll get $90,000. Then you'll get $95,000 for the second half of the first year. The first half of year 2 will bring you $100,000 and the second half $105,000. Finally, you'll get paid $110,000 for the first half of the third year and $115,000 for the second half. Add it all together, and you've got $615,000. In this case, your out-of-the-box thinking has given you an extra $15,000 a year. Nice! Riddle number 3. A brainy baker. This story happened a long time ago, before we had modern conveniences like electricity and gadgets. A baker decided to make a cake for his daughter's birthday. According to the recipe, it should stay in the oven for exactly 15 minutes. But here's the catch. The baker's old clock broke, and he didn't have time to find a new one. His daughter would be home in just a half an hour, and he wanted to surprise her with her lovely homemade cake. The only thing he had was 2 hourglasses, one of which was for 7 minutes and the other was for 11 minutes. The baker was a very smart man and still managed to make one of the most delicious cakes ever. He even did it before his daughter got home. So, how did he pull that off? To bake the perfect cake, he turned both of the hourglasses upside down. When all the sand from the top part of the 7-minute glass had fallen through, it was time to put the cake in the oven. After 4 minutes, when the sand from the top part of the 11-minute glass had emptied out as well, the baker simply turned that glass upside down once again for another 11 minutes. 4 minutes on the first turning and 11 minutes on the second make the 15 minutes he needed. See? Easy as pie. Oh, I mean, piece of cake. Riddle number 4. An unlucky robber. One day, a thief decided to rob the local bank. He came up with a brilliant plan to dress up as one of the bank tellers and try to sneak into the vault. As he was approaching the vault, he saw a security guard standing right in front of the door. The robber hadn't anticipated this, so he hid and watched the guard carefully. When one of the actual bank tellers walked up to the door, the security guard said 12. The worker answered 6 and got in. Then another teller came up to the vault. When the security guard said 6, the person answered 3 and was granted access. "Oh, I've totally got this," thought the thief, and he nonchalantly walked up to the security guard. When the guard said 10, the robber confidently answered 5. He was arrested immediately. So why was the thief's answer wrong, and what should he have answered instead? Your 15 seconds start now. Any ideas? The correct response has to do with the number of the letters in the word. 12 has 6 letters, so the answer is 6. 6 in turn has 3 letters, so the answer is 3. As for 10, well, you can see by now that the robber should have said 3. Looks like he wasn't as brilliant as he thought. Once again, crime doesn't pay. Riddle number 5. Beauty and the Brain. There once was a baron who had gone broke and lost all his fortune. The only thing he had was his 2 daughters, Elsa and Gerda. Elsa was drop-dead gorgeous, while Gerda was smart as a whip. Now, where did that expression come from? Smart as a whip? Normally, whipping things or people is bad and not all that smart. However, I digress. Back to the story. The ruler of a nearby kingdom fell in love with beautiful Elsa and invited her to dinner in his palace. Elsa decided to bring her clever sister along. The ruler was old and ugly, and he knew that he had no chance of winning Elsa's heart. He also knew that Gerda really loved riddles and decided to risk everything by striking a deal with the sisters. The agreement went like this. The old man would tie back each of the sisters' hair with either a red or gold ribbon. They could both get matching ribbons or different ones. The girls couldn't give any signals, hints, or phrases to help the other guess the color of their ribbon. They would dine in silence in a room with no mirrors. After dinner was over, he would ask each of the sisters what color ribbon was in her hair. If they both guessed correctly, they'd go home with all the gold and jewels they could carry. If one of them guessed correctly, the ruler would give the winning sister a pearl necklace. And finally, if neither of them guessed correctly, he would marry Elsa. Wow, this is so like Let's Make a Deal. Gerda talked it over with her sister, and they both agreed to play. Needless to say, Elsa was saved from such an unpleasant marriage. But how did Gerda find a way to win? Now it's your turn to do the guessing. You've got 15 seconds. This one is still a mystery to us. Did you manage to crack it? Then please leave your answer in the comments below. Maybe together we can finally figure out exactly how Gerda outsmarted the old boy. So, how many of these riddles did you solve? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to click subscribe to stay on the bright side of life.